Hello world, curses and madness be upon you all my friends. I am Euclidean Vision, the emotional support, and since the release of Thick Torb back over the summer, amid some curious new feelings that I don't quite understand, I've been kinda concerned that Blizzard are running out of new skin ideas. And so this video was born. If I can come up with one skin for every hero, then Blizzard must be able to as well. And so, without further ado, there's 31 heroes to get through, so let's suit up and start at the beginning with Ana. And the Ana skin idea I have comes courtesy of the lore this time. Looking at the Bastet short, we learned that Ana isn't very good in the kitchen, and therefore we get terrible chef Ana, complete with tiny little chef hat, messy apron, and maybe a little smudge of flour on her nose. We can really play up to that lovable grandmother angle. And so moving on to Ashe, I've got quite a few ideas here. Whether we start playing with things that you can do with Bob, like maybe putting him in a French Maids outfit instead of a Butler outfit, you then do imagine that we have to put Ashe in a French maid outfit too, but I won't talk about that for too much longer. So instead, maybe looking more towards the lore, how about private school Ashe, complete with school uniform and maybe like a toy BB gun or something of the like? Or possibly even Runaway Ashe, complete with running mascara and Anorak Bob. Again, these would be quite nice ways to develop the character a bit more from stuff we've already seen. And then we start getting into more referential territory, and personally we have to start getting a little bizarre with Jolyne Kujo Ashe, complete with stone-free Bob. This could be a really colourful addition to Ashe's skin pool, but my ultimate idea has to be the first of a line of skins you're going to see pop up today, Magical Girl Ashe. Based particularly on Madoka Magica's Tomoe Mami, complete with Charlotte-influenced Bob. Don't lose your heads over this one, folks. This could be a truly magical addition to the skin pool for Ashe. And so looking to the hunk from Haiti, I only have a few ideas for Baptiste. My first one is a lore idea that could shed some light on his time in the Caribbean Coalition, giving us some more green colours and a bit more of a rustic aesthetic. But with Halloween around the corner, looking again more to his heritage, Baron Samedi Baptiste. Complete with top hat and face paint, this could be a pretty funky addition to Baptiste's line that we could see turning up pretty soon. And now to everyone's favourite beepy boopy boy, plenty of references to see here, pretty obvious ones being the Iron Giant and the robot from Laputa Castle in the Sky, but there are some slightly more niche references we could see with Bastion, such as the different units from Evangelion, or even everyone's favourite shiny-assed robot, Bender. But my ultimate skin idea for Bastion is going to be a lore-themed one this time, as Bastion has several skins referencing the different Omnic factions. There's one that's pretty clearly missing, and that's Shambali Bastion. And if there's any excuse to give Bastion a big pair of bloomers and a big old necklace, I'm down for it. Let's see this, Blizzard, I challenge you. And so to the scary, sexy shield maiden.
Hey.
My first idea for Brigitte comes again from the lore, and has already sort of been adapted into the game in one of the mechanics skins, but I'd really like to see a casual or a training skin for Brigitte, featuring her favourite top, and the foam flail and shield could be a really cool addition to her extra bits. But, of course, I was going to come back to this, and you're going to see this happen again in this video, Magical Girl Brigitte, taking influence either from Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha's Nanoha, or Madoka Magica's Kyoko. As you can see, both have got relatively similar styles to Brigitte's existing outfit, so I think this would be a really easy translation all told. And so looking at the D.Va herself, we could definitely again look at the lore and go with something like battle-scarred D.Va, seen at the end of Shooting Star as she's recovering from her battle with the Grishin. But admittedly, this would be way more of a change to the baby D.Va model than the actual mech itself, which looks pretty standard. So of course, we've got to start getting back into referential territory, with either looking maybe at something like Gunbuster, or Evangelion, or Ghost in the Shell, but that obviously leads us to the only conclusion, Magical Girl D.Va. And whoever made this, Blizzard, please hire this person, make this skin, tone it down if you need to, but I would adore to see this thing in game, thank you. And so on to big old Doom Guy. The lore does provide us with one or two nice alternate skins. I think that we could redo Doomfist's suit from Masquerade into like an alternate version of the formal one we have at present, sticking a bit closer to the original design, and there's definitely room to be played with his Masquerade outfit. But my ultimate idea for Doomfist has to be a Summer Games one, so we won't see it for a while, but boxing glove Doomfist, complete with giant boxing glove. You could maybe even make him out of plastic to harken back to the old school boxing game of yore. And while it might feel a little too goofy for the leader of Talon, it's fine, it's Overwatch. Like, I'm sure that nobody takes it that seriously at this point, aside from maybe me. And so moving on to Genji, tons of ideas for Genji. With Halloween coming up, could we see his Ronin skin implemented? Could we play more with his heritage and see like a Tengu skin as opposed to his Oni skin that we have at present? Could we then start looking a bit again more at references? A Finn the Human skin, complete with ethereal Jake the Dog Dragonblade Ultimate, I think would be fantastic. But then the only clear solution obviously comes up again with Magical Girl Genji. Do we look to Madoka Magica's Sayaka, complete with a cape and sabers? I think a better avenue to take would be to look to Kill la Kill and Ryuko Matoi and Senketsu. Obviously featuring a giant scissor blade and a far more revealing outfit than usual for everyone's favourite cyborg ninja. But actually, there's one final idea I have for Genji that's maybe a little different, and comes in the form of what I call Great Wave Painter Genji. Taking influence from Bleach's Ichibei Hyosube and Hollow Knight's Nail Master Shio, wielding a giant paintbrush as opposed to a blade. All those prior influences mentioned, both his heritage and the anime influences that are obviously relevant in my videos, all of these can combine together to give Genji a sort of representation similar to Kimetsu no Yaiba's breathing swordplay, and so offers a really unique opportunity for Blizzard to really play with the animations that they add to this skin. Then looking at Hammond, because his name's Hammond, not Wrecking Ball, we could maybe look at something like Super Monkey Ball's transparent ball, so we could see Hammond running around inside it or playing with all his contraptions. Or we could look to the Summer Games aesthetic and maybe give him a beach ball instead of a football, which is personally nowhere near as good an idea. But the clearest idea for Hammond has got to be Disco Ball Wrecking Ball. And this one kind of speaks for itself. I don't even need to tell you how cool this could be. You know what it's going to be like. There's going to be plenty of dances held under that thing. So moving on to Hanzo, we could play with some skins a bit more similar to some of Genji's existing ones, giving him a Super Sentai or a Kamen Rider outfit, or again something like the Tengu mask or the Oni mask that we've seen with Genji. But then we could play a bit more into the bow and arrow usage and see something like a Robin Hood skin for maybe Halloween coming up soon. Or we go a little spicier and we start playing with a little bit of gender bending in the old bow and arrow usage, and we look to Tomb Raider and Horizon Zero Dawn to give Hanzo skins influenced by Lara Croft or Aloy respectively. And then obviously this has to come back to this. Magical Girl Hanzo has to take influence directly from Madoka Magica's main girl, Kaname Madoka, with a big old pink frilly dress and a rose-tipped bow. This could be a real step forward for Hanzo fans out there. And so moving on to Junkrat, there's only one clear idea I have for Junkrat, but I think you'll see why. Purple suit Junkrat. Why so serious? Because we must all one day bite the dust. And so speeding on to Lucio, there's definitely existing skins of his that I think could be played with in order to develop them as like themes. His equalizer skin could easily be translated into like a waveform or a visualizer kind of skin. His hockey skins could play more into like a professional skater kind of line. His football ones could play into all sorts of other sports. And while the lore could offer us something a bit more casual and realistic like a revolutionary outfit, I think quite clearly the best way to go from here is to expand on the jazzy skin and give Lucio different musical genre skins, going anywhere from death metal to hip hop to classical. This could be a really cool way to just expand on Lucio's skin line in like a load of different ways. And so rolling on to everybody's favourite cowboy, tons of referential ones here. Obviously we've got everybody's favourite space cowboy to look at, we've also got the classic Blade Runner to maybe play with, and there's one or two particular cowboys or gun users that we could see make things a little bit more bizarre. But especially given Matt Mercer's attachment to the character, I think we kind of have to go with a Jotaro Kujo McCree. Especially if we can add the ora 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 to his fan hammer. That would be absolutely fantastic, and I don't think anybody would care what Blizzard did from that point. Any mistake would be forgiven. And so to the delightful spawn of Satan herself. Only one or two ideas for May. One that only came up fairly recently because of one of the new sprays, D.Va Mei, could be quite nice to see next summer games. It's nice to see Mei getting her legs out and add a little snorkel, add a little submarine snowball in there. That could be pretty cool. But with Halloween around the corner and the magical girl theme sort of returning with this one, Ice Queen Mei, because we all know how scared we are of Mei. Let's realise that with a trip to Narnia and the scary Ice Queen. And so on to the Angel of Mercy. Playing with the angel theme a little, maybe taking it a little too religious in some aspects, but a seraph skin could be pretty interesting for Mercy, giving her a bunch of extra wings, making her look a little more actually ethereal or inhuman. Could be quite an interesting way to take her character design. But then looking to more familiar territory, how about like a white mage? I haven't played any World of Warcraft to know the appropriate classes from that are more likely to be stolen for a design for Mercy. But a classic white mage is exactly what Mercy is kind of intended to represent when you're crossing at least into other games' territory. But of course we couldn't go out without this one. Magical Girl Mercy, I think, has to be most clearly referential of Card Captor Sakura. There's plenty of staff designs to play with for Mercy, and could give a more cutesy, more available design alongside the pink skin, which is already pretty magical girl enough in its own right. And so let's ninja run into Moira with the only real idea I had here. You can sort of take this as a magical girl application if you want, but this reference comes from Hunter x Hunter and the character Hisoka. And just visually I think you can see how well this would translate onto Moira for a variety of events, but I think particularly Halloween would be a really good place to bring this one up. And it could even be the core influence for her masquerade design that she hints at during the Retribution event. And on to Orisa, who personally is lacking in strong skin designs. We could play off her Null Sector skin and give the OR14 Honor and Glory model an outing as well, or we could even go more the Bastion route and give her a Guishin skin, or how about re-representing her as a Junker mech, for instance. There's also plenty of cultural references to be played with Orisa, such as the Agungun, which is a Yoruba masquerade or a costumed figure. But my personal favourite would again be to tie it back to something referential. Quite fitting thematically and aesthetically is Ghost in the Shell's Tachikoma, another class of developing AI robots. And so jetting off to Farah, we of course have to jump straight to the magical girls here, and we can maybe see some influences taken from something like Miraculous Ladybug or X-Men's Storm, but ultimately my favourite idea takes us back to the lore and comes in the form of Bastet Mask Farah. I've got a lot of theories for the potential of Farah picking up the mask, allowing her to do a lot of things in terms of developing her story going forward, but that's not the time for this. Hopefully I'll be coming to that soon, so if you enjoyed yourself thus far, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because it really helps small channels like this one out, and it means I can get back to doing this sort of thing more regularly. And so, let's reposition a little bit, going to Reaper, jumping straight back into the lore again. His masquerade outfit is pretty dashing. Like, I would not mind that outfit for Reaper at all. It's a little bit of an extension on some of the ones we've got already, but it's worthy in its own right, I feel. Then looking to more referential things, a personal darling of mine, please give me Hollow Knight Reaper. Just please, I'd really enjoy that. That'd be absolutely great, thanks. But no, the clearest one here, again, will make things a little bizarre. And at least visually, again, we probably would look to Jotaro Kujo. But of course that's not the case. A Dio skin for Reaper I think would be absolutely brilliant. And allows you to really go ham on his ult with the And so charging in with the Giant Crusader, plenty of Halloween options here with the Admiral outfit that he's got in one of the comics. Lord Adlersbrunn would actually be a pretty good one to feature as he's so relevant to Junkenstein's Revenge. We could also go maybe a little more cultural and give him a big old set of Lederhosen. I think that'd be pretty funny. But my favourite one that I've been harking on about for a while, when the Summer Games comes back round, we totally have to get Ryan's guns out and give him like a 1920s red and white striped big old long bathing suit. Give him a big old plastic shovel as a hammer and we can all celebrate as Ryan gets his tushy out on the field. So now let's go the whole hog. I got a few ideas for Hog. Something I'm surprised they haven't added is like a true biker skin to tie in with Torb's iterations of the same thing. And something I'm equally as surprised they haven't done, again with Halloween coming up, Gluttony Roadhog. Turning that belly into a big old snappy mouth is an opportunity I think they've kind of missed on out a little. You could also, if you wanted, take this all the way up to something like Oogie Boogie. I think that would be a pretty funky way to go as well. And one that I'm slightly less surprised we haven't seen is an outfit iteration of Roadhog. Like, it'd be cool to see, but I don't know how much he would have changed in the intervening years and how exactly long it's been since that went down. But again, that would be a cool way to progress some of the lore just by releasing a skin on its own. But my top choice for a new Roadhog skin would again be a little lore focused and would hopefully give us some quite interesting progression in the form of a Talon uniform. Roadhog has regularly been featured alongside Talon, at least within like the gameplay demonstrations, so I think this would be a really cool way to further his lore progression and maybe confirm to us that yeah, Talon have got Roadhog on board for a few things occasionally. He wears the outfit when he needs to and then he goes back to his daily life. If they're not going to make comics or animated shorts, hey, it's a way to progress the lore somehow. And so on to the newest addition, Dr. De Kuiper, Subject Sigma. And only one or two ideas here. We could definitely see something like a spacesuit or a Horizon Lunar Colony outfit for him to tie a bit more generally into his lore connections. But my favourite idea here, again, may not come for a little while, in the form of a summer game skin, Billiard Master Sigma. Wielding a pair of Magic 8 balls and a snooker table barrier, not to mention the sharp tux he'll have to be dressed in, Dr. De Kuiper can really bring the class to the table when next summer rolls around. He's not your father, but he's definitely Overwatch's dad. And there's only really one idea I have for Soldier, and that's to expand on the spray he got some Halloween ago and give him an ugly Christmas jumper. Nice. When Christmas rolls around, I want to see that guy reveling in the ugliness of his new fancy jumper. And so swiftly on to Best Girl, I think there's quite a strong case for giving Sombra an adaptation of her original visual concept. Because, hey, that thing's pretty damn cool, man. You could really play with that to give her something new. Or you just make a new character out of it. I'd be well down with that too. But then we jump to two of the greatest missed opportunities in Overwatch's lifespan. Both of them coming to us courtesy of Masquerade. And that's Sombra's sexy little number here. And by far one of the best skins that hasn't been added to the game thus far. Jester Sombra. Please get this in the game. Make it a magical girl outfit if you have to. I want to see this shit, Blizzard, please. And so sticking to order, we carry on with Symmetra. Tying a bit more to her heritage and her lore could lead us to maybe something like a Bollywood dancer skin. And hey, again, if you can turn something like that into a magical girl skin, that would be outrageous. I would love to see that. But again, as mentioned with a certain swine earlier, something really interesting to progress Symmetra's lore via skins would again be a Talon uniform. Again, to confirm that Symmetra has finally gone over to the dark side. In just a manner like that would maybe be a little insufficient for a character like her who seems a bit more dubious about the whole thing, but eventually seeing something like that in game could be pretty cool, and you can see how sharply the general aesthetics of Talon skins could apply quite well to Symmetra's overall design. And so on to the sassy Swede. My first idea comes in the form of what I call Train Conductor Torbjorn. That's more of sort of like a steampunk iteration on his design, with plenty of valves, a big train conductor hat, some crazy extending monocle over his missing eye, and an overall aesthetic of steampunk that I think we haven't seen as much as we maybe could have done across the cast thus far. The Junkrat iterations are a good start, but there's maybe not enough of them either. But my top idea again comes back to the lore, and a comic that I think is a bit too forgotten about and I'd like to see more expansion on is Torbjorn's hazmat suit from the Destroyer comic. And this is a skin you could chuck in at any time. I think it would work quite well to come up again at Halloween, even though it's tied to the lore, but maybe there's the fear of it stepping on the toes of a certain other character who wears a hazmat suit. Who knows? And so to Poster Girl, only actually one or two ideas here. Something that I would have to suggest as only an epic skin would be to go to the Reflections comic and over Winter Wonderland give us Scarf Tracer. It's only a slight expansion on her original outfit, but it could be just kind of nice to tie back to the lore and her connection to Emily. But then obviously, we had to come back to this eventually. Magical Girl Tracer has to be reminiscent of Homura-chan. The aesthetic fits her pretty well. Give it to me, Blizzard, please. Do not let us fall into despair. And so to the Sexy Spider. We could really live up to the femme fatale idea here and maybe give her something more of a noir outfit, like a classic reporter, maybe with a short trench coat and a reporter hat with some shades to drop down for her ultimate. Or we could look maybe more towards the lore, which has given us several skins already, But I think a really different iteration to go with here would be Amelie Lacroix's wedding dress. If you can adapt that into a skin for Widowmaker, that'd be actually pretty cool to see. I'd like to see that. But to my personal favourite, and again, you can count this as like a magical girl skin for Widow if you want. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. It's more of a reference to something else I've brought up today, and that would be Hornet Widowmaker. Complete with drop-down Hornet mask, a big flowing red cloak, and some kind of needle iteration on her sniper rifle. If you guys went to this length, Blizzard, you have no idea the lengths that I would go to praise you for that. And so leaping in with everyone's favourite monkey, an opportunity I think has maybe been missed slightly has come to us through the Recall cinematic and the Reflections comic in the form of Overwatch's orange and black uniforms. This skin could be applied to several existing characters and they look pretty nice, they look pretty swish, man. Like, that's a pretty cool basic outfit to add to quite a lot of characters at once. Because hey, maybe it's about time you expanded the base loot pool again? Just saying. But back to Winston. I think there's a really cool opportunity here to go and cyberize the old gorilla and give us a further expansion on the cyber theme that we have had developed across, again, several characters. But finally tying back again to one of the more important things, the lore, and sort of Halloween as it's so imminent, Scientist Winston. Taking his design from the Uprising comic, you could use this to tie obviously back to the lore, but you could also use it with Halloween to play with a sort of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sort of vibe. This would be pretty cool to see, and again, I like the marrying of lore and events, in order to just give us some new skins, for fuck's sake. And so, benching in with Zarya, there's a few lore-based ones here again that I think we could look to, such as again, cyberizing her to maybe have her look more like a Sviatogor, or we could even go back to the moment that she actually tore her weapon off the side of a tank and give us something like War-Torn Zarya. But my favourite idea, surprisingly, isn't a magical girl idea, because I can't really think of a magical girl iteration for Zarya, and comes in the form of another Summer Games skin with Water Fight Zarya. Finally letting her get her legs out properly, with a big old water gun that also fires water balloons for alternate fire, and her projected and personal barriers obviously taking the form of giant bubbles. Maybe even shooting a whirlpool for her Graviton Surge ultimate. Everyone, get in the pool! Dive at will! The amount of sheer cool additions makes this one of my personal top priority skins to be seeing within the next year. I think that this is a really huge opportunity that Blizzard could develop on. Please, get to it, you guys. And so, as we embrace tranquility, we come to everybody's favourite Omnic monk Zenyatta. And again, we could play with several of the referential skins that we applied to Bastion, such as the Iron Giant. Bender, I think, would be a very good translation onto Zenyatta. Or we could look maybe towards a lore adaptation such as a Guishin or even a Null Sector skin. Or possibly even a Mondata skin could be really interesting. And as we're leaning that way, as there are several humanoid Omnics in the story that may never actually see the light of day as heroes, could Zenyatta be maybe a pretty controversial opportunity to have those supporting cast members manifest themselves in the game as skins as opposed to characters? Take Maximilian flinging coins instead of orbs, bring in Link 17 doing whatever the hell Link 17 does, hero concept above, or even getting to see maybe the slight differences in how Mondata would have acted back in the day. That's a really interesting opportunity, but it also kind of plays against the whole individuality of Omnic's thing, so kind of might be a little too derogatory of the whole sort of theme and idea of Omnics being sentient beings. So maybe that one, while a cool idea, let's just make those characters heroes in the game instead of reducing them to skins, because you know that's a better option, Blizzard. And so with my obvious agenda evident, that brings us to the end. And there we must stop. Which is your favourite skin I've posited today, guys? Please let me know, along with your own sexy skin ideas down in the comments. And let's hope Blizzard can follow up on this, and keep the skins coming. Like, they're not the most important thing, but they're really nice. They add to the game in a really cool way that I think isn't one to be missed out on. But as this is all I can do for now, I can just present ideas. That's all I am. I'm an idea machine. That does bring us to the close. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support, who's really thankful for you staying with me to this length, friends. It's always good to have you here. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my ridiculous ideas, and I shall hopefully see you soon. Take care of yourselves, teammates. and may the glorious light of Best Girl shine within you. Peace out, y'all.